So we're back again with season 3. How have we got on? Let's find out. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I am frankly FM84, and in today's episode we're going to be looking back at season 3 in our 5-year plan managing Red Bull Bragantino out in Brazil. If you haven't already been and caught up with the first 2 episodes, jump on back, have a look. Whilst you're there, drop a subscribe, hit the like button, and let us know how you're finding the concept in the comments box down below. So if you are up to date, what we're going to do is jump straight on in, have a look what happened in season 3 in Brazil. Here we are then on the club's end of season review for the 2022 season. As you can see, there is a little spoiler on the screen. There is a trophy there for us to be celebrating. Which one it will be, you'll find out very soon. So we are going to jump in and have a look at the new arrivals first. Players that we have brought into the club and played well this season. The number one main signing for the season and the star signing was Lucas Holter. He came in from Atletico Paranaense for 4.5 million, played 56 games, scored 15 goals as a centre-back, which is amazing. Our set pieces really are a strong point. Had 2 assists and a 7.15 average rating. Ivany is another player who came in from Santos for 4.2 million, played 35 games, scoring 6 goals, with 8 assists and a 7.07 rating. Justin came in from Fluminense for £3 million, played 28 games, 2 goals, 3 assists and 7.01 rating. So 2 of our best signings this season were in defence, which was an area that we were looking to plug, because even though season on season we're getting better with the goal difference, it was still an area that was leaky and producing all kinds of weird 6-3, 5-3 losses. So 2 of those areas were addressed. Peglo was another big signing who came into the club. He's now the club's record signing at £14.25 million. Brought in from International to replace a player which we will reveal shortly. Played 41 games, scoring 13 goals with 8 assists and had a 6.99 rating. We also signed Gabriel Brazil, who was the player that you caught a sneak peek of at the end of episode 2. He cost £1 million from Inter Milan, played 46 games with a 6.94 rating. So again, slots into that back unit and has really helped us to secure our defence this season. Okay, so in terms of players that have left the club, there is quite a long list, and England is going to pop up here quite a lot. As you can see, the first one on the list is Nazareno Colombo. Bit of a kick in the teeth, this one, because we were looking to build around him long term. Norwich swooped in, and unfortunately Brazilian players have this non-domestic release clause, and at £7 million he has moved to Norwich, and that's a steal because he has just become an Argentine international, and I was really gutted to have lost him. Clayton is another one that moved to England. He's gone to Leicester for 15 million. We did sign the goalkeeper from Inter Milan to be a replacement, and he had to do it pretty much straight away. This was a one that we could negotiate, and we managed to get them up to 15 million pounds. We thought that was a good deal, considering we'd signed a replacement for £1 million, so no problems letting him go. Claudinho is another one that was a bit of a kick in the teeth. He was a star player at the club, was really progressing well, and then Leeds swooped in with a 9.5 million bid. He did actually become unhappy because at first Leeds were trying to lowball us. They offered us 4.5 million. We had to work it all the way up to that contract release clause, and he eventually did move on. And then one other player who went to England for a lot of money was Jadson Silva. He moved to Brentford for £10.5 million. He was only really a squad player, so wasn't too much of a blow, but I suppose as a 22-year-old he could have developed further, and that's something that we're now not going to see. So hopefully the players that we have brought in will balance that. I think we've got a stronger squad based on the money that we received and the money that we spent. So for the future, maybe it's a good thing. For the here and now, losing Claudinho and Nazareno Colombo was just something that unbalanced the team for a little while, but I think we sorted it out, and as you'll see in the next screens, we did pretty well. So next up is the season results, and we are on the Brazilian Serie A, and as you can see, for the first time we have managed to win the Serie A. We did it with a really good run towards the end of the season. We were in third or fourth for most of the season and then managed to climb our way up the table towards the end of the season, winning on the final day of the season by 3 points from Flamengo. It's a great achievement, and the board have given us an A plus because nobody expected it. The form was patchy through the middle of the year. Like, we went on a good run where here we won 4 in a row, and then we had a loss, and then we won another 5 in a row before 2 draws. Those losses sprinkled in just meant that we weren't quite in the top positions. And then at the turn of October, as soon as October come, we never looked back. We won, what's that, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 out of 10 games, unbeaten in 10 games, and it just propelled us to our first title. So absolutely fantastic. Couldn't have asked for anything more. The players that we brought in really chipped in and contributed week in, week out, and it made such a difference to the team. We also managed to win the Paulista Serie A 1, which we had won previously. We regained that crown. We didn't perform very well in the league, even though it says there we finished second, 3 points behind Sao Paulo. We didn't even win our own group. We struggled through. We had some really topsy-turvy performances where here you can see we had a 6-2 win and a 6-3 win. We had a 7-0 win. The majority of the losses that we did have were quite close games, so it wasn't like we were getting smashed every week, but it was a case of a little bit inconsistent when the losses were coming. But overall, we flew through the knockout stages. As soon as we reached those, the quarterfinals was the minimum that was wanted, and we just kept winning and winning. Went on and won the Paulista Serie A 1, so that's an achievement. In terms of the Libertadores, we managed to get out of the group stages. We even managed to get past the last 16, and then again we lost in the quarterfinals against Santos. So hopefully with a stronger team finishing and winning our own domestic league, hopefully in turn that is going to help us in the next season as we have again qualified for the Libertadores, and it's the one thing now left to really tick off in terms of the top class elite competitions that we are yet to win. And in terms of the Brazilian Cup, we were knocked out in the quarterfinals by Internacional. It was a team that put up a good fight against us. We threw everything at them, couldn't beat them, and then over the 2 legs we managed to lose 3-2. So all in all, a great season and a great achievement to win both of our regional league and the national league, and now it's going to be concentrate on the Libertadores for the next season. So then, for our moments to remember, our biggest win was a 7-0 win. Let's load that up and have a little look. We were absolutely dominant in this game against Limera. Felt quite sorry for them in the end because there was nothing they could do. We just smashed through them and absolutely wrecked them. You can see the goals here. We worked the ball well in the box, and Chigor scored that goal. Evaldo and Chigor scores again. Claudinho playing a big part in the game. He sets up McCormack, who has just continued his upward curve of progress. This kid is going to be special in our league. A lot of clubs are interested in him, including the English clubs. Luckily, he doesn't have one of those clauses, so McCormack is a player who's going to be here to stay, I believe. So he is the one that we are now building the team around. So that was the 7-0 win. Our match to remember was actually a 1-0 win in the Paulista Serie A, which doesn't sound brilliant, but Sao Paulo have been a thorn in our side, and I think that the game recognises that we really stepped up to win this game. I don't think we had the best of everything in the game. If we look at the stats, it was pretty even, but Sao Paulo are a team that we really have struggled to beat across the years, and the goal that Raul scored there was pretty spectacular too. And then for our goal of the season, it goes to Leo Ortiz with the top draw goal from the central defender as he hits a free kick from the edge of the area. So if we have a little look at these goals as well, maybe it'll just show us the one goal. But we scored some fine goals across the season. We have really played some brilliant football. So let's have a look. Here we go. This is going to be the first goal. Alejandro with the ball over the top in behind. That's a great finish. Tony Anderson then. He's going to play the ball to Justin, who sets up Alejandro for a second goal. And then this is the goal that won the goal of the season, Leo Ortiz with a free kick. That's brilliant for a central defender. So we're going to push on and have a look at the finances now. So in terms of the club reputation, again, we're still not progressing really. We're at a 3.5-star continental reputation, which is good enough to attract the players that we need. We have no new sponsorship deals. Sponsorship revenue has gone up since last season. Our broadcast revenue has come down slightly. Corporate and hospitality has gone up to 47,000. Prize money was 11 million for this season, which is vital for giving us that transfer budget that we're going to need to try and challenge for the Libertadores. And our match day commercial and retail is up to 145,000. We had total merchandise sales 371,000, with 37,000 of that being non-domestics, and we sold 4,069 shirts. Okay, so if we have a little look at the accolades for the season, as you can see, despite winning both the regional and the national championships, we still don't get any recognition for that. In terms of the club awards, McCormack was the fans player of the season. He was also the young player of the season. Lucas Holter won the signing of the season. Goal of the season went to Leo Ortiz for that free kick. Alejandro finished top goal scorer with 30. McCormack finished top assister with 24. McCormack also got 10 player of the matches. He had an average rating of 7.4, and Bruno Veglio was on the club awards for most passes completed per 90 minutes, and that was a 45 per 90 minutes. For the competition awards, we have Leo Ortiz, who won the Melor Zagueiro, which I think, can we have a click of that? No, we won't let us click that. So that's team of the season, I think. And then we have Brazilian Best Foreign Player Award goes to Luke McCormack. And that's a fantastic achievement. As I said, he has really developed into a top class player for the club. In terms of the record breakers, we have Alejandro scoring 30 goals in a season. He also had 4 goals in a single match, 4 goals in a single league match. Most assists for the season was 24 with Luke McCormack. Holter was a naughty boy. He had 19 yellow cards and 2 red cards to go down as the worst disciplined player. Most league goals by player is now Alejandro with 67 in total across his seasons. Peglo is that highest transfer fee that we paid for 14.29 million. Clayton is the highest transfer fee we received at 15 million from Leicester. And Alejandro goes into the record books for the fastest goal with a 15-second goal. In terms of history in the making, hard work and effort paid off on the pitch, and such a feat didn't go unrewarded at our end of season ceremony. So there you can see we have won the Serie A. So there's our trophy, nicely presented in the middle of the screen. And it says the spell of football at the start of the season was the making as it set us up for success. So that's the season review wrapped up. We're going to have a little look in more detail at both of the leagues, have a look at some of the stats for the players and show you what the squad depth is looking like. We'll also have a quick look at the finances before we wrap up and move on to season 4. Okay, so starting off in the Serie A, as you can see, we did win the league by 3 points. Our goal difference this season is fantastic. We have a 54 goal difference, which is progress considering it was 8, I think, in the first season, 23 last season, 54 now to go on and help us win the league. We have the best goal difference in the division, which is fantastic. We have a record of 27 wins with 4 draws and 7 losses. Probably not the best we could do, but we won a league, so what more can you ask for? In terms of the player stats, so in terms of goals, don't have anybody in that list. Alejandro, I think, is just below these. In terms of average ratings, though, Luke McCormack was second on the list with a 7.4 average rating, which is fantastic. He also had 11 league assists to finish joint second in that category. Raul picked up the most yellow cards. And for a change, we have nobody in the distance covered or the dribbles per 90 minutes. I think that's probably down to Claudinho leaving the club. If we have a look at the Paulista, let's have a little look at the league table. So, yeah, it says there that we finished 3 points behind Sao Paulo. As I mentioned, that actually isn't the case. If we look at our group, which one were we in? It's going to be D, isn't it? It's always the last one you look for. Yeah, so if you look at the group, we actually finished 5 points behind Palmeiras. So we didn't have that great of a group stage. We had 8 wins, 1 draw, and 3 losses. But once we hit the knockout phases, we really started to play really good football. So we beat Palmeiras, who we finished 5 points behind, 4-2 in the quarterfinals. We then, in the semi-finals, went on and beat Santos 4-0. And then in the final, played some really good football to win 3-1 on aggregate across 2 legs against the Sao Paulo team that are really, really strong in Brazil. So in terms of the player stats, we've got McCormack again chipping in with 10 assists. Claudinho is on that list as well with 7 despite leaving the club. McCormack finished with 4 player of the match awards. Colombo finished on 7 yellows and Weatherton on 6. So some of the hard tackling might need to change, but seems to be holding us in good stead. And yeah, that's another title won in the Paulista Serie A 1. So that's 2 of those now to go with this season's Serie A. So things are looking good on that front. So as you can see from the finances page, this is a page where everything is going firmly in the right direction. Our balance is up to £66 million as a result of player sales, performances in competitions and the revenue deals. We are left with a £27.9 million transfer budget, which is fantastic. If we're going to go on and push for the Libertadores, I think we're going to need to spend some of that. In terms of a wage budget, now we have been given a £548,000 per week wage budget, and that's mind-blowing considering that at the start of the save, I think we only had £4.6 million in the bank, and we are currently spending £150,000 as a wage budget, so we are going to be looking to be signing the top class elite players that we can get our hands on. There is no excuses now for players not wanting to come to the club because we can pay them quite handsomely. If we go and have a little look at the team report, you can see here that the best 11 based on what the assistant thinks is Brazil in goal, Weverson, Holter, Ortiz and Justin, McCormack, who is our star player, Raul, Evaldo, Peglo and Andre Ricardo, which is strange because I think he's a youth player, so that's one to keep an eye on. And Alejandro is still our best striker. If we look at some of the strengths and weaknesses, it alludes to the fact that we are now financially stable with £400,000 to play with in terms of wage budget. We have youth prospects as a strength. There are talented prospects, Layert, Moyo and Ricardo at the club. Alejandro's 14 strikes ranked him 6th in the competition. Brazil is one of 4 good options in goal. Weverson is one of 3 good options at left back. Ortiz is one of 7 good options at centre back. Brazil is a superb option in goal. Raul is a superb right back. Leo Ortiz is a very good option at centre back. Look at a few of the weaknesses. Group isn't good with crossing. There is a bit of a lack of determination. Some concerns about the aerial ability among the goalkeepers. Group isn't the best of goalkeepers in terms of communication. Players lack strength collectively. Some players don't seem to want to work hard. Passing is often inconsistent and disappointing. 17 of the 39 assists conceded in the last 48 matches have come from just outside the area. So some things to work on there. It's interesting to see that the players don't want to work hard and aren't very good at passing or crossing, which is where most of our goals came from. So maybe it's a case of needing to change the backroom staff, but hey ho. Definitely things though to be looking at there. Lack of determination is one that I might have to start addressing. I know it's not a big thing. Some people say it's the biggest thing in Football Manager, but determination is still a thing. If we're going to go and win the Libertadores, which is now pretty much what the save is going to be about, we are going to have to get players who are determined and willing to work hard for the club to do that. So the final thing that we're going to look at is the club vision page. Job security says we are now untouchable, which is fantastic. In terms of the club culture, the club do not want us to sign players over the age of 30, which is something that is part of the challenge we are doing anyway. We want to play high tempo pressing football, which we have been doing. They are reserving judgment on playing attacking football, possession football, and making the most of set pieces, which I think is a bit harsh because we should have done quite well from set pieces, considering we had centre backs that have scored goals. So I think we're scoring from corners a lot more than what I would expect. And then in terms of the 5-year plan for the club ongoing, work within the wage budget is going great. As you can see, we now have a £400,000 gap in the wage budget. We are trying to sign players to sell for a profit. They're pleased about that because that's exactly what we did we have bought a few players in, sold a few players on, and the finances are so much healthier for the players that we have sold. A minimum 3-year contracts for the first team now. It's something that we're looking at anyway. The problem with Brazilian contracts, as I said earlier, is those clauses that get players out of contracts rather easy. I wish we could get rid of them, but they seem to be locked into the contracts for the club. So if they want to judge me on that, then that's unfortunate. But I think that in terms of offering 3-year contracts, that's normally what we would do anyway. So by the end of next season, they want us to have only qualified for the Sudamericana still, although they want us to reach the quarterfinals of the Libertadores this season coming. So strange that they don't want us to do well in the league, but want us to do well in the Libertadores, which is, again, something I'm going to keep saying because it's one of the main objectives for the save. And then by the end of the 2025 season, they want us to have qualified for the Libertadores again. Then I have a contract renewal. Then we are working towards challenging for a title. And they are reserving judgment at that at the moment, even though we are the current champions. So that rounds out season 3. This is a really fun save to do. It's quite difficult when you're losing players because it looks quite bleak, but the big bonus to working in Brazil is the fact you just go and look at every other club in Brazil and they have wonder kid after wonder kid after wonder kid. So signing a replacement for a player under the age of 23 is not a problem. You look at the national squad and their youth squads and it's packed full of talent. You just go and cherry pick. Some of them are ridiculously priced. Some of them are cheap as chips. I mean, paying £14 million, I think we're going to eclipse that in the coming season. And then there are some players that you'll pay £100,000 for and sell them on for 15 million. So the way that the league works is pretty brilliant like that. Brazil is a nation that produces kids, wonder kid after wonder kid. So it's been real fun going and spotting that new and up and coming talent. I think as we push on into season 4, again, I'm going to say the fact that we want to win the Libertadores, that is the #1 aim. And if you come back next season and have a look at how we are doing, hopefully that is the checkbox that we will be ticking. So I'm going to leave it there for this one. I'm going to jump forward in the time machine, so when you come back, you'll join us in season 4. If you've enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button to help the channel out, and if you've got any comments or you want me to do anything differently in the save, leave them in the box below. And until the next video, a big thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Take care.